Hello, everybody, and it is day 90. It is 90 days, and the time on this until this is over. It's day 90. And what is the topic for today? Today, we'll talk about Flask Framework Session Object. Flask Session provides a way for you to store information across requests using secured cookie to persist data on the client side. Are you excited? It's day 90. It isn't it's day 90 of the 100 days Python programming challenge. It's 90 days. We've been doing this for 90 days. It's almost over. Hi, welcome back. And today's topic is session object. So section object in session, not section object in Flask, allows you to store user specific data across multiple requests. So for example, on an e-commerce website, you typically store the item that the user has added to their shopping cart to the database so that once they are done shopping, they can then fill their cart to purchase the item, and this workflow of storing the item in a database only works for authenticated users though. So you need a way to store user specific data for non-authenticated user between requests. This is where session comes into place. Session is used to store information related to a user across different requests as they interact with a web application. So, in the example that I just stated, the shopping cart item will be added to a user session. The data stored in the session should be considered temporary data as the session would eventually expire. But if you want to store the data permanently, then you should use a database. So, first thing that we have to do, our file structure. So, first I'll have the app.py file, and then I would have my template folder. So template. And then in my template folder, I would have home.html, and then I would have my login.html, and then I would also have my dashboard.html. So these are the three files that we will be working with. So main app.py is our main Flask application, and these are the folders. This is the folder for storing the HTML. So now let's set up the Flask application. So in my app.py, I'm going to import Flask, I'm going to import session, I'm going to import request, redirect, render template, and so on and so forth. And next thing, we would have a secret key. Remember in previous videos, we talked about secret key. So yes, secret key ensures that the session data is secured by signing the session cookies. And I told you that you can use random numbers, but then if you're building like a bigger application, you will not necessarily put your secret key directly in the app.py. You might have a separate file where all your secret keys are. So this is where I'm just using your secret key because this is not really important, but when you're doing that, make sure you use a strong secret key. So now that we have this, let's go to our HTML. So for our home page just provide links to the login, and it checks the session. So my home page, I will just have H1 heading, and I just want to have two links, one going to the login and the other one going to the dashboard. That is all I'm having in my home page. So say we have the title, home, and then H1, welcome to Flag session, and then the login, and then the dashboard. So then in the login HTML, I want to have a login form. Just want to have the username, that's all. The username to log in and a button to submit. So it is as basic as it can get. So again, we're using the post. We've talked about post. We're sending data, not getting data. And this is the action login. This login, we would use it in our app.py. So you see we have the label for the username, the input type, it is a text, and then we have a button to submit, and all is in the form method. So next, our dashboard HTML. This page will display the login user session data. So it's just going to have like a title, an H1, and then like a welcome message, and also maybe like a link for the user to log out if they so want to log out. So it's as simple as this. It's getting the username. We've talked about this again multiple times, and also a logout button. So now let's define our route. We already have our HTML files. Let's define our route in our app.py. So the first route is usually like the home route, and then it's not really doing anything. It's just rendering the home.html template. So I have the decorator and then the function that just renders the home.html template. And then the login route, what do I want to do? I want to get the username from the form. I want to store the username in the session, and I want to redirect to the dashboard. So here I'm doing the use going to use the get and post method because I'm getting username and then I'm storing the username in the session, and I'm also redirecting. So let's have our login route and also our function name. So this is going to the login and then we're getting and posting. So if the request is the post method, this is all that we have to do. Get, store, redirect. Yeah, this is our function. So this gets the username. Username equals to request.form.get. Get our username from the form. And session username equals to username. Stores the username in the session. And the redirect redirects to the dashboard. And then we want to render the login.html template for this. So next, let me show you our dashboard route, our dashboard function. So what we want to do is we want to retrieve the username from the session, and then we want to now like display it on our dashboard. So understand the process. We have a form. The user fills in information. The information the user fills, I store it in a session. And then another page then gets the information from the session and then puts it on the page. So that's how we have the login and then the dashboard. So the dashboard gets the information from the session and then we then display it. That's oh welcome and then the username. So this is my dashboard function, and it does exactly what I said. Redirect username, retrieve username, and then redirects to the login if there's nothing in the session, if there's no session. And finally, we can have like a log out because we have in the dashboard, we have the logout. And what do we want to do in the logout? We want to clear the username from the session and we want to redirect to the home page. So clear the username. That's all we're just going to do. We're just going to pop the username and then redirect to the home page. And that's what we have here. We've been using session in all, so do not get confused. And section was what we imported. So session.pop, what are we popping? We're popping the username. You see, we use get to get the username. And then what is our username? Username is what we got from the request from our form. So you see, we got the username from our form, stored it into a session, redirected us to the dashboard. And then in the dashboard, the username that we got from the session will then display it because in the dashboard we have this place where welcome and then the username that we got from the session. And then in the login logout, we're popping the username and then going back to the home page. So now let's test the application. So Python app.py. So this is what we have first. Welcome to the Flask section tutorial. So now we've not stored any information. There's nothing in the session. So if you go to click on the dashboard, it will redirect to the login because nothing is stored. So then the username, I've clicked my username, and then immediately I click this login, the username will be stored in the session and it will display on the dashboard. So see, it is stored in the session, displayed on the dashboard. So if I now go to the home page and when I go to dashboard, you see the username is still stored in the session. And then when I log out, it then pops deletes the session and then we have to log in again. So session is really important because it stores data and then you're able to retrieve data, you're able to clear the session data, and it is awesome. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching the tutorial. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment if you have any questions. The link to the code is in the description to my GitHub. Download it, try it out, and let me know if you have any question. See you tomorrow.